Everyone loves talking about the war on Christmas. What if I told you there's a different war on Christmas I want to talk about? I'm talking about the consumerism aspect. Because every year, especially now with No Buy 25 having been a thing and so much other anti-consumerism sentiment on the internet, I wanted to talk about this because every year, in addition to the culture war parts of Christmas that we're not going to get into in this video. People also complain about the consumerism racket, like from Charlie Brown Christmas. Some people claim it's all a scam to make you spend money. My position is that all of this misses the point because Christmas works because of balance between being together with friends and family and the consumerism aspects with the excesses of gifts, decorations, and food. But before we get into all that, be sure to give this video a like, comment your favorite thing about the holiday season, subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations, and last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Anyway, I want to acknowledge that yes, Christmas is no longer strictly the religious holiday celebrating the birth of Jesus. It's evolved beyond that into something more cultural, social, and emotional. Yes, the birth of Jesus, the Nativity, does come up, whether you have churches setting up the nativity scene, but most places like stores and such have the Santa Claus and other winter icons, which, if that's what they want to do, that's their choice, and I respect their decision. However, I want to be clear that this evolution of Christmas isn't necessarily corruption of it, because at its core, the idea is to still give gifts to other people. Maybe a few too many people, but like the Ralphie said in A Christmas Story Christmas, I rewatched that last night. It really is the thought that counts. Though I will say, going into debt for gifts is a bad idea. I would never do that. That's why I talked about how I set aside a little bit of money every week, all throughout the year, actually going back to the previous December. Like, I've already set aside the first portion of money for Christmas gifts that I'm giving out next year. All that said, this does not invalidate the holiday itself. Just because it may seem like a consumerist racket doesn't mean that decorations and gifts are a moral failure. Honestly, the labeling of Christmas as a consumerist racket and treating decorations and gifts as moral failures misses the mark, because it reduces a complex tradition to a caricature. It's basically modern Scrooge dressed up as moral clarity. Now, again, if you're going into debt for any of this, that's a different story. But if you're just enjoying the season and all that, why does that matter? If you're not going into debt, then you're all good. Anyway, over the course of rewatching Christmas movies and Christmas specials, over the course of the month up to this point, I realized something. Christmas works because being together and the trappings reinforce each other. One doesn't replace the other, and they're complementary, not competing. Take the ending of A Charlie Brown Christmas, for example. The ending is about everyone coming together and decorating the tree with the consumerist trappings of Christmas on Snoopy's doghouse. The tree and the decorations weren't just superficial manifestations, they were a symbol of shared effort and something that brought everyone together. Material things were used in service of togetherness. The moral wasn't to reject the trappings, it was to not let them replace the people. My realization of all this was confirmed when I went to see the Jim Carrey Grinch movie in the theater last weekend. There's that famous line, Christmas doesn't come from a store. And the narrator is right that Christmas itself doesn't come from a store. Spoiler alert for a 25-year-old movie. After the Grinch steals all the superficial trappings of Christmas, the Who's still gather and sing, even after losing all the superficial aspects, because they are there together. Their decision to still sing and celebrate without all the superficial trappings prove that Christmas isn't dependent on the stuff. And that's why the Grinch decided to return everything, because the fact that they still celebrated without the stuff proved that they were worthy of the stuff, meaning they realized what it was really about, and so the decorations, the presents, the food all amplified it. The excesses were returned because the spirit was there. Well, the Grinch realized that the Who's weren't as superficial as he thought, or maybe they were superficial about it all, but he realized that Christmas isn't all about the stuff that he stole, but it is a nice enhancement. That's how I read it this time around, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about that in the comments. Anyway, the excesses of Christmas exist in the first place because the decorations make shared spaces feel special, and gifts, they externalize thought and care. Like I said, it really is the thought that counts. And then food creates ritual and memory. None of these replace the togetherness, like the Who's singing in Whoville on Christmas morning, despite all their stuff being stolen. All of these things amplify it, as demonstrated by after the Grinch returned everything. Now, I know there's the common retort of the anti-consumerist crowd, but it all comes from a store. And to that I say, yes, materials usually do. Even handmade things involve purchased inputs. Like popcorn strings, you gotta get the popcorn kernels from somewhere. You've gotta get the materials to pop the popcorn from somewhere. Or you have to buy pre-popped popcorn somewhere. Because like I said in the past video, resources of the earth are not free because it costs money to turn them into something useful. So the store is not the villain. Intent and usage of the excesses of Christmas matter more than origin. So ultimately, there is no one right way to do Christmas. You can have a minimalist Christmas of doing almost nothing. You can not celebrate Christmas if you don't want to. I'm not saying you have to do anything in the first place, but if you're doing something, if you want to do the bare minimum, I'm not going to try and stop you from that. And if you want to go all out, my only concern is whether you would be willing to go into debt or not. I would not go into debt, but if you want to go all out with whatever you have and then buy something you need, if you really feel like it'll enhance the experience, by all means, that's your choice, and I respect your decision. What actually matters at the end of the day, though, is thoughtful gifts if you are giving gifts, avoiding financial self destruction, and spending quality time with the people you care about. Again, Christmas itself is not hollow consumerism. It's a social tradition with material support structures. And so that's why I say if someone's enjoying the holiday without hurting themselves or others, let them. Enjoy your holiday as you see fit, and the spirit and the trappings can coexist, and they always have. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here for the video. You let me know in the comments what you think about all this, whether I'm reading too much into the Christmas specials or Christmas movies, or if you agree with me that the excesses, like everything that the Grinch stole, enhance the holiday season, but ultimately it is about the togetherness first and foremost. Be sure to also give this video a like, subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations, and last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.